everyone, and a big happy welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. Our show today is the Business Talk Show. And here in the United States, we are one day before a big celebration, which is Thanksgiving. I want to give thanks to each and every one of you who are taking this journey with us to provide education, inspiration, and hope. And thank you to all of the entrepreneurs out there. You make this world the place that it is by your curiosity, your drive, your passion, and your determination. Our show today is episode number 114, and I'm so grateful beyond words to be able to share this stage with my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Al CINI. Let's welcome him to the program, and then we'll bring out our special guests. Hello, Al. Good to see you.
Hey, Dr. Jacalyn. It's always great seeing you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, and thanks for putting up with me for 114 episodes.
114 episodes, and believe me, it's not a chore at all. It's a pleasure.
Well, this show is so powerful because, as you know, the crux of this country is small entrepreneurs, people going out on their own, and people have been leaving the corporate world during the pandemic and saying, I've had enough, I did it. You've been out on your own for a long time. And we have people come and share information about how we can be successful as entrepreneurs and what it is we need to do. Today, we have two gentlemen joining us from the Middle East. And I have to say, it's exciting because they are team members already here at USA Global TV and Radio. They are on our men's show, a show for men, by men, about men called Wild at Heart. Before we bring them out, though, Al, I want to spotlight you, as I always do, because you have been able to be successful in so many areas of business, and you actually have just launched something new that you're rolling out. Tell us about that.
Thank you for that opportunity, Dr. Jacalyn. We, many of our watchers, viewers, and listeners will remember that one of the areas that I've concentrated in is something we've called a brand and culture alignment toolkit, which is about essentially connecting organizations with their purpose, with their reason for existing. And we do that by kind of a patented process we've created that is unusually effective. In fact, we found it so unusually effective. It works so quickly, and that's the amazing part of it, that we can take the core of it and condense it down to an experience, a team building experience that can change the trajectory of a team, the way it works, the way they perceive each other, the way they appreciate their work. That we can take a team and we can turn it around in 4 hours, essentially half a day. So we've taken that, working with Lisa Manioki, who's developed a coaching system called Presence Intelligence. We've taken the brand and culture alignment toolkit, we've combined it with presence intelligence, and we've got a solution we call ProFit, which is a team blending and bonding experience, happens in half a day, and it's enjoyable and it's fun. And when it's all over, people have a completely different perspective on their work that's based on the purpose of the work they do. So thanks for the opportunity to tell the world about it. I think it's something that the entire English-speaking world would be interested in, and we're really proud of the work we've done.
Thank you so much, Al. And people can learn more by going over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and looking up Talking Heads Al CINI, where you gave some expert presentations on that. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So as we introduce our guests, I just want to really highlight the fact that here in the United States, sometimes we get so caught up in our own way about how we do business here, and it's all about us. There's a whole big world out there where people are doing international business, and there's different cultures, there's different rules, there's different things that people have to follow. And I want people to understand how they can do business successfully in the Middle East. Joining us today, as I mentioned, are two team members. They are both with a company called Pinnacle. We're going to find out exactly what their roles are and also about their extensive experience that they've had prior to these positions. Let's welcome to the program Hazem and MOUNIR. Welcome, gentlemen. So nice to have you with us.
Hazem and Mohammed, how are you? It's nice to see you both.
You're muted, Mohammed.
Great.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you also for being valuable team members and contributing every week on our show, Wild at Heart. I get to produce and hear backstage what you guys are sharing, and you're really open and forthcoming, helping other men understand that it's okay to be real and to share. So, thank you for that. Today, we're going to be talking about business and the world of business. And I'd love to spotlight each of you and talk about the work that you're currently doing, and then how did you get to where you are? So I'll start with Hazem.
Yes. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Jacalyn, for inviting us to this excellent and rewarding show. And thank you also for introducing us to Mr. CINI, the coach and the mentor. Thank you very much. We're very much delighted to be here in this such a beautiful show. My role is I work now as a managing director and a partner for Pinnacle Emirates. It's a branch or a subsidiary of Pinnacle-Ltd, and which is actually managed by the group managing director MOHAMED, my friend and colleague since the university. And I'm gonna tell you briefly how we jointly, me and MOUNIR, started doing such business and consulting and training business and expanding it to the Middle East. Now, my background, if you may allow me in 2 minutes or something, or what, Dr. Jacalyn? Do I have a couple of minutes?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have a master's degree since 2000 and a doctorate degree recently from Slavka University, and I do work as a business consultant and an assessor, certified trainer, and certified validator from EFQM, which is the European Foundation for Quality Management, which is based in Brussels. It's a non-for-profit organization which is the owner of the excellence model and have the global excellence awards in Europe, around the globe. They're called the Global Award of Excellence. I've been certified since 2007 and been doing assessment in national awards for Egypt and for United Arabs of Emirates and in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and giving consulting for business excellence in the Middle East. Actually, I'm a certified innovation assessor. And what happened that I'm also an owner of many startups. I have shifted the career from corporate to private business since 2007. Basically, I established my own digital company, which is called Internal, which produce web development services and hosting services and digital services. And then joining in another company and owning another company for media production and another family business for agriculture. And after making lots of consulting and assessment in many organizations, I met MOUNIR last year, and he actually was a very old friend from the university, but he is in the corporate life all his life in Xerox. He will be speaking about this. And then we discussed that we have to, he started Pinnacle 2019, and I joined this year in order to take it another further step in Dubai and in Emirates and in the Gulf. And after MOUNIR speaks about the Pinnacle more, we will be clarifying more. I'll be giving my input more about what we do with entrepreneurs and small business and medium-sized and large corporation as well. I'm trying to be brief at the beginning, and then I will elaborate more. Yeah.
Thank you, Hazem. Wow, extensive experience that you've had since university. Then you two reconnect, and here you are together. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that, and we'll delve into that a little bit deeper. Thank you. Let's go over to Mohamed MOUNIR, which I know you as MOUNIR. People might be like, why is she calling him MOUNIR? But tell us a little bit about your backstory.
So the first of all, yes, because maybe this is something that you need to know about the Middle East, is that a lot of Muhammad and Ahmed. So you need to put the second name, otherwise everyone in the room will be answering you. Just joking. So I started my career at the age of 18 with a multinational organization. So I was working for Xerox, and in the last 10 years of my career, I was managing 138 countries in terms of a marketing strategy and deployment of those strategies. And that made me have a lot of exposure in terms of different countries, different cultures, how to set up something that is centrally being done in Rochester, New York, and then take this to the world. If we're going to Kuwait or Bahrain or Gibraltar or India or Russia, and then you start to develop this to fit into the size of the country and the things that the challenges that they are having. So that was really exciting, and it was a very nice, exciting part of the world. I was mainly managing the developing countries operation, which is Latin America, Middle East and Africa, Mediterranean islands, Central Eastern Europe, and Russia and India. That was really a nice time. And then we started Pinnacle in 2019 as a consultation and training firm. And now we're growing up the group with different companies, joint venture with some of the learning and developing countries, and developing companies in Europe, like Developer, and we have a joint venture with them now to develop human resources and human skills more into the countries. So I'm so glad to be here talking about my vision, the Middle East, and maybe we can take Africa with us as well. So I'm so excited to be answering your questions. Hopefully, I would be able to add value for the audience.
That's great. I listening to both of you, I'm thinking there are an awful lot of entrepreneurs in the United States who are growing in a domestic market and have solutions that could be really valuable to consumers, customers in the Middle East.
Yeah.
But they're afraid. They wouldn't know where to begin. They don't know who to call. I mean, obviously, it's great meeting both of you, because I think Pinnacle is a terrific resource for companies in the United States to open the doors to Africa and the Middle East, as you said, and you can open those doors for them. But before we talk about how you do that, what's the big deal? What are the big opportunities in the Middle East that American companies should be aware of?
All right. So okay. So first of all, we're consumer markets. So if you think about the Middle East, it's the population of the Middle East is huge, and they are mostly consumer rather than producers. So they produce a lot, and don't get me wrong, the GDP of a small country like Qatar is $2.5 billion. So that's $250 billion. So this is growing, and the GDP of Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and Egypt, and so on. It's absolutely a great GDP doing that. However, the consumer power is huge. And the new ideas and the markets are open for new ideas, new things, making their life easier. And in terms of seeing what are the Western countries are advanced, and the US advanced in like digital transformation, agility, and application services. These are the markets that really wants that, and they definitely are seeking for more and more opportunities to see what's new, and they are open for all for everyone. And like we say in the Middle East, there is a place for everyone. So I would definitely see that it's a big deal that you can think and concentrate on the Middle East when you're thinking to invest abroad.
Yes. Can I add to MOUNIR something, CINI? Moreover, to build on this consumer market or the big market, it's actually it's an opportunity for the American company to invest here in the Middle East because of the low cost, cheap labor and educated labor. For example, Egypt university graduates are more than 350,000 graduates every year. And the government gives a scholarship for example, 9 months of training for IT, for example. So we have a very big opportunity to, if you want to outsource people in our call centers or doing offshore even services like finance, bookkeeping, all this. So we have low cost of operation because of cheap labor. I don't want to give you numbers. For example, it will be shocking for you. It's maybe 25% from the cost if you're going to hire someone from America or from Europe, maybe less. And actually also the power and cost and electricity cost is much lower. Rental cost it's much lower. The tax rates are much lower than the United States and Europe. Here we're speaking about from 20 to 22%. I think in Europe and in the States it's more like a 40%. To correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen. Yeah.
It is. So American companies then that are interested in doing business in the Middle East will find that there are consumers in the Middle East for their products. That was a point I think, MOUNIR, that you made, which I think is great. If I'm building something, if I'm making something, I could offshore a lot of that production and maybe call center production. If I'm providing a service, I could offshore that to people in the Middle East who can do that work, skilled labor in the Middle East that's available. I think that sounds like a wonderful opportunity, but back to why people are scared of it. There are barriers to this. You're worried about, people might be worried about culture, the cultural differences. And the great thing about having you, both of you on the program as resources at Pinnacle, is that you can overcome those barriers for American companies, can't you?
Yes, of course. One of the main things. We have this business expansion services, and business expansion services is taking some of the countries from the companies from where they are, where they started, towards different countries in the Middle East and Africa, and maybe Europe as well. So we're helping companies to become more of an international look and feel, and entrepreneurs, however, they become local and understanding what will happen. Because I will give the example now with the great event that is happening in Qatar. As the World Cup. International event, millions of people are there, reporters from everywhere and so on. And we started to see all this controversial about, the culture difference, the LGBTQ things and the signs, and reporters from some of the countries, some political things, drinking and so on. And that's one of the main things that will definitely, make people scared, because they are going to the unknown. And this kind of stereotypes of, Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, and so on, it has some stereotypes where people think that they cannot, tolerate and understand. And those people really are rigid enough in the Middle East that they will not be allowing, foreigners to be there. Maybe with the exception of Emirates, where it was really making this kind of PR about themselves, that they are welcoming everyone, and everyone would be respected in that area. But again, I would say that it's exactly the same in Egypt, it's exactly the same in Kuwait, and so on. But we all need to understand the different in culture, different in positioning the companies, the look and feel of the logos, and so on. Those things, small, really small things, but it will make a great difference. CINI, I was supporting one of the companies in Europe, doing some business in Oman. And in their presentation, they were trying to resemble, the stress that the people are living in now. And they were putting an image of an American soldier, in like street war. And this is when I started, right. So now what you want to convey with this message, because if you started to be producing, or putting this on the slide, it does not deliver the same meaning for an Arab countries where they think more of, some of the things that happens in Iraq and so on. So we definitely need to strip this kind of things out in order to make our business go smoothly. And this is where, I'm giving you a very minor example that will make a great impact on the clients.
Well, those are, right off the bat, I'm thinking American companies are afraid to do business in the Middle East for all the reasons you mentioned, but there are huge opportunities in the Middle East. And if your competitors are afraid to go there, then you should go there, because that's open territory for you. So for the courageous American entrepreneur that really wants to exploit that market, you're the people to call, and you'll help them get in. And I'm going to throw you a curveball, because I know an awful lot of American, I'm not sure if you guys understand curveball. You understand baseball well enough to, here's a curveball. I'm throwing you in googly if you play cricket.
Okay. Right.
And if you understand American business, an awful lot of American business is done by women-owned businesses, and women have their own misconceptions about women's rights in the Middle East and what they have to worry about. There are a lot of women in the United States who could be doing very successful business in the Middle East, and they should call you and explain to them why.
Right. Yeah. I'll give you an example. 70% of Pinnacle manpower is actually, and I'm sorry to be saying manpower because it's women power. 70% of Pinnacle are women, and we do have this great initiative about women empowerment and how to do the women leadership. The last event that myself and Hazem, we were there and making some talks with business women is the CEO women on the Middle East. So, of course, we are supporting that. We're supporting the National Council of Women in Egypt. We're supporting the top women and so on. And this is something that you really touched base on. But it's not. Now the movement that are happening in Saudi Arabia. So I'm giving you the thing that's still that you always been thinking of. It's if the women can drive, how can they have business? Now this is with Sheikh Mohammed bin Salman. This is the Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This is absolutely a game changer. Now we understand the big tycoons like Al Alayan, like Al Walid ibn Talal, and so on. Those foundations really gave empowerment for the women, and then the government itself are keen to have businesses there. Need those women, they need to understand where they are going so that they are within the context, not bringing something that will really can trigger something that is different. Is exactly like an Arab woman going to do business in the US. Those women needs to understand the context of doing business so that they does not trigger any negative impact on them being there. And that's where Pinnacle comes, because the consultation and the advices, the coaching that is happening supports those people to be able to do successful business from the start, understanding the policies and procedures, the homeland security, the homeland laws, and then they will definitely be doing great business without any sense of risk or feeling that they are not comfortable doing the business in those countries.
Yes, I would add also, sorry, Dr. Jacalyn, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love what you're sharing. And a question that comes to mind, I feel like wherever a person has a business, it's all about the people. Your people are your most valuable assets. And so if I'm here in the States and I want to work with some people there in the Middle East, whether it's female, male, doesn't matter, there's a way to bring people together as a virtual team, and you build that trust and you build that rapport. And I'm sure that you help in those areas as well.
Yes, actually, I would add on top of what Munir said, and you just highlighted, Dr. Jacalyn. One of the services that we do for the business expansion is business matchmaking. As you said, investors from America or from Europe, they want to come to the Middle East. They have to choose the right partner, and here comes our role in selection criteria of who are the best fit for his needs, in not only in money wise, but also trust, credibility, and business experience, knowing the market and knowing how to open the market and grow more. All the services of due diligence as well. It's very important at this stage, and investigating the credit or the financial statements of other parties here in the Middle East, and if they have any problems with the banks or with other vendors or with other customers, it's very important in order to make a best selection for them. Facilitating all this, and also for the other side of the story, that investing in the Middle East, not only for the market or for the cheap labor or their skills or whatever, but also because they have ideas. We have many entrepreneurs, many ventures. We do some equity finance for them as well. So we grab investors from outside in order to invest in ideas by entrepreneurs here in the Middle East. Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, Dr. Jacalyn, a woman-owned business, pharmaceutical company, let's say, for example, I'm thinking of one. We're in central New Jersey, and there are plenty of them all around us. Might be a pretty small company, maybe a couple of hundred employees. If they make products for women, there are women in the Middle East who could consume those products, who could use those products. So there's that. If they're welcomed as women business owners in the Middle East to open businesses there in the Middle East, and you'll help with that. And if they need a call center created, somebody to answer the phone if a customer has a question about their products, they could create that call center in the Middle East, and you could help with that.
Of course, and this absolutely. Is and all this. I mean, it is all packed with what Hazem was saying. Dr. Hazem was saying, the man, or the good labor, educated, good accent, different languages, so French, Italian, Arabic, of course, and the Arabic in Egypt is the most understanding Arabic in the Middle East because different slangs, but the Egyptian slang is the most understood. And the idea is that they are very young, ambitious people who wants to really deliver value for what they are doing. So of course this will definitely have a lot of opportunities if they just thought about the expansion of their business across the borders.
That's great. And now, aside from cultural issues and language translation, which of course we talked about, and it's more than just understanding the literal meaning of the word. What does the word actually emotionally mean? Because if you're going to do business with people in the Middle East, you've got to respect them, and they have to feel that respect. So you got to be careful about how you present yourselves. You can help with that because you know where the sensitivities are. I think that's important.
Yes.
What about legal barriers, contracts, differences in the way the legal systems work? Can you hook people up with lawyers? And
of course, yes.
Yes, of course, yes. And actually, some countries in the Middle East, they has a very, very great opportunities for investors. And for example, in some area for free zones in Dubai and Abu Dhabi and in Egypt and also in Saudi Arabia, tax rates are some industries has some are tax free for a couple of years. Lots of investments. We can hook them also with lawyers and accountants and all the services they want in order to ensure a proper positioning and a good start. Yep.
Yeah.
That's from of course from the legal, and we can go further than just consultation. So we have one of the best professor doctors in terms of the personal branding. She's sitting in Lebanon, and we do have what we call the personal branding services, and people understand that the personal branding is just, how do I look, or how do I take the pictures and so on, and it's way beyond this. Anthropology, if we're talking about the anthropology, what exactly will appeal in that market? So in one of the market, if I look and feel like this is how I'm going to be appealing. How can I address, a meeting in Saudi Arabia, where if I am a woman and a woman and I am entering a boardroom with different, because there are this kind of hierarchical, but however there are this kind of, royal families and princes and so on. So how can I deal with this kind of, people to show the respect that is needed? So personal branding, marketing, because what works in the US and Europe may mostly that does not work in the Middle East. We need different attributes in the Middle East in order to be able to grab the attention and so on. And the rest of that, if we're talking about the legal, of course, this is the core of everything, because we need to do the right things from the beginning so that we do not go into any disputes we spend a good time understanding everything, making sure that the contracts are revised. The Arabic version against the English version has no deviation. We spend a lot of time and scrutiny on those kind of things in order to be able to assure the future of this organization happens, especially, if I may say, with countries like in Saudi Arabia, where some of the regulation of investment, foreign investment, mandates that there is a Saudi nationality, or you have to employ Saudi people with a certain percentage against everyone that is coming from outside. So understanding those kind of things will definitely, spare our energy and time trying to resolve issues that we don't need to have it in the beginning.
Sure, that's.
I just want to jump in about the marketing piece. So in speaking with entrepreneurs, interviewing entrepreneurs, coaching people, one of the mistakes people make is they feel that everyone is their target consumer. Everyone's their audience. Everyone loves what I have. Everybody wants me. But that's not the case. And so, especially if you're going to branch out into another country, you know your consumers there. You know what they want. You know what they need. So you can really help prevent that big open gap that I feel like entrepreneurs, they just jump in and feel like they're going to sell to everyone. You have the information, you have the research and the data.
Point.
Yes, it's a good point. I mean, Hazem with the digital marketing can say so, but it's just to give you an example of the differences. If you're targeting luxurious cars, you don't choose the people that are interested in the BMW and Mercedes and so on, because those are not absolutely your target audience. If if I have the capability to buy a BMW, I will not be following BMW page or doing that. So in general, things like that, it's different. I mean, people, if they aspire something, this is something, and what they have the actual money and the right persona is something else. But talking about marketing with Hazem, especially digital marketing, he's the guru here.
Yes. Actually, before going through this investment, market research will be one of our top services to help foreign investors coming to the Middle East, because in order to get scientific data about whatever the target market we're trying to grab attention to. So this is the first step we do actually with the foreign investment in the Middle East, and then comes the marketing strategy and the marketing plan and all the digital marketing services on the top of it, and actually activations on the ground marketing, the PR activities, whatever radio, television can be done, the message, all this components, as you know.
Yeah. And so, Americans are notoriously terrible at geography. I mean, we are notoriously terrible at knowing what country is where and finding it on a map. We're awful at that. I'm actually pretty good at it, but I know an awful lot of people who are embarrassingly bad at it. You mentioned a point, Mounir, that I think is really important. I think you're joining us from Egypt. Is that where you are right now?
Now, yes, I'm sitting in Egypt now.
Okay, so for people who don't understand, you mentioned on your LinkedIn profile that you're kind of a gateway to Africa.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody in America really thinks of Africa as an emerging market, and yet all the smart people know it is. So for the dumb people in the United States who aren't even exactly sure where Africa is, explain to them why you need to learn that.
All right. So that's Africa is the heart of the world, and if you're talking about the natural resources reservation of the Earth, now this is the natural reservation of the universe, and emerging market like Kenya, like Nigeria, those are areas where you would definitely find a lot of opportunities and business and money power as well. So yes, I mean, Africa is in the heart of the world, and the population, the natural resources, the not the cheap labor, the low cost labor, if I would say so, and purchasing power is absolutely great. So of course, I mean, there are this kind of countries where it is they are doing their marketing enough, like Saudi Arabia, like Emirates, but there are those kind of silent countries where they are not doing enough publicity about it. But if you go and you start doing business in Tanzania, for example, the sub-Saharan countries, South Africa and the sub-Saharan countries, wow, I mean, this is something that we really look at and make sure that we're existing.
Yeah. Country like Sudan, for example, with a huge potential for agriculture. It's huge potential for agriculture. The soil is absolutely for excellent for growing all kind of fruits and vegetables, the organic products, because the nature of the soil and of course the River Nile. So lots of investment comes to Sudan, for example, for agriculture in specific, and also we have cattle in Kenya and in Sudan and most of the African countries. So poultry, yes, and animal raising is very important there as well.
I know we're coming up on the end of the program. Dr. Jacalyn, where did you find these guys? They're great, for one thing.
Roland Friedel from our dear friend Roland. I have a question for the two of you. Somebody's watching or they're listening and they're thinking, you know what? This is it. I know I want to reach out to these two. I know I want to work with Pinnacle. What does an engagement with you look like? What are the steps? What's the process?
Great.
All right. Okay. So, Hazem, would you like to take this?
It's very simple. We are very open, and we can introduce ourselves and introduce the company, and knowing better about this investor, and then trying to grab more details about his potential and his dreams, and what kind of future he's looking for in Egypt or in the Middle East. And here comes the trust as a first step between us. What we do, that we try as much as we can to build trust with the companies or whatever they're coming to our land and our Middle East countries. So they have to know the good picture and all the details in order to have success. After these steps, anything is very easy. But this is, I think, from my point of view, is the hardest step, is to gain and build trust. Yeah.
Sure. And I'll mention one other area that I know you can help in. There are government grants from local governments in the Middle East and certainly in Africa, where there are targeted businesses that they're trying to help promote. You're aware of those opportunities. There could be opportunities for American businesses to take advantage of some of that. You can help build that bridge for them. I think that's shareholders here of those companies will be very thankful that their CEOs have learned about you and are calling you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, we're trying our best. It's the mix of more than 50. I think we're 54 consultants now, coming from different countries, from different backgrounds, and what exactly that we really focus on is to have this kind of practical experience, so that we had our hands, we've done it before, we have this kind of success stories. But before that, we know that we are leaning on not just only experience, but also a methodology that comes with the knowledge and the science. So we're using Lean Six Sigma in everything that we're doing. We are mastering. Dr. Hazem is mastered in European Foundation for Quality Management, so that we do this kind of assessment and continuous improvements. So those kind of the mix between the knowledge and the science and the experience. This what brings things into action in the fastest time. So I would say our access is easy. Contact us. Form one of our business developing managers will be in contact, and then we start understanding exactly what are the dreams, what are the vision of the entrepreneur, and then we take this kind of vision and we plot it into what we call the business acumen, the business canvas inside this kind of organization, and then we take it from there. The simple steps. But really, taking it into the perspective of it. So we're grateful to be, to be the go-to, because we really enjoy what we do. We love it. So and that's why we're doing it with passion. The only thing that you have seen, maybe we've added some passion for the audience and you, and this is a plus that I can thank you for it.
Thank you. I have to say, I'm so intrigued. I have so many more questions. I hope you'll come back so that we can actually add more value, because what you're doing is truly amazing. And I think that more and more people need to hear about these offerings that you have, because people just get stuck. They get stuck in a rut. They have dreams, but then they want to expand, but then they don't do anything because they don't have any connections. They don't have any resources or people they can trust who are there in the field and know what's going on. So I hope you'll come back and join us again.
Definitely.
We're going to be
Thank
so
you very
happy
much,
for that.
Dr. Jacalyn. Thank you for having us here.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Hazem. Congratulations on your doctorate. That's fabulous.
That's terrific.
Thank you very much.
Well, the great news is you can see these two gentlemen right after this on our next show, which is Wild at Heart Bonfire Talks. Before we go there, I want to spotlight you both and have you share your contact information, which we have on the screen. I'm going to start with Hazem. But for people who can't read it, who would you like to contact you, and how should they do it?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes. Hazem, how can people reach you?
Yeah. Of course, on the email here on the screen, Hazem Baraka at Pinnacle-Ltd.org, or even the mobile phone. It's 24/7, of course, and on the website. And we're glad to come back any inquiries and any questions, of course.
Thank you very much. And Mounir, over to you.
Same here. I'm open. So my email is Mohamed. It's spelled MOHAMED .Mounir MOUNIR at Pinnacle-Ltd.org, and that's my number. I mean, you can text me, you can call me. I'm happy to answer any queries soon, inshallah.
Thank you so much. been an absolute pleasure having you both on the show. I'll let you go
Absolutely.
and get ready for the next show. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
CINI, it
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure
Thank you.
meeting you. Thank you so
Dr.
much, Dr. Jacalyn. All right.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Bye.
What a fabulous show.
Well, and it's the beginning. It's the first entry in a program that you and I and Ian and Helena in the UK are going to be launching, hopefully in January, where we'll be exploring business opportunities. You put the global in global TV. So that really is, I think there is a gigantic market for information related to doing business globally, the nuts and bolts of it, the details of it. And there are people like the people we had on the program today, Hazem and MOUNIR, great people who can help make that happen for American companies, for European companies. What we want to do is no reason why you can't be doing business all over the world if you have a product people need. People are people all over the world.
It's very true. And, you know, Al, just one thing I want to add to that. I feel like prior to the pandemic, obviously people are doing business internationally, people are traveling, but there were a lot of barriers to information, barriers to connection, barriers to networking. And now we have the ability to literally reach our arms across the sea and connect with people who are interested in helping and partnering, like Hazem, like MOUNIR, like Pinnacle. So I think that that's good news for an economy, a global economy that's in a lot of places in this world is in trouble.
I completely agree with that. There's no reason why a small business has to stay small. If they have a solution that fits, there are markets outside the United States that want those solutions and have an appetite for those products and services. And there are great people like MOUNIR and Hazem who can help get them hooked up. I think that's what a contribution.
Absolutely. Mr. CINI, I'm going to leave it to you to close out today with some type of thoughts about Thanksgiving and anything you want to share with our audience.
I'll give it a try. You know, I will say this. Thanksgiving is in the United States a time of reflection, opportunity to remember what it is you're grateful for. I have so many things to be grateful for, not the least of which is meeting this wonderful lady on USA Global TV, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Very grateful for that. And then that's followed here and all over the world by Christmas, where we wish each other happy holidays and wish the best for each other. But for me, to my thinking, New Year 2023, it's not a wish. I don't wish you a happy new year. I set you off on a path to create a happy new year for yourself. And our job here at USA Global TV is to give you the information and introduce you to the people that you can use, that you can take advantage of in order to make a happy 2023 for yourself. It's a 2023 Happy New Year isn't a wish. It's a job. And I hope you'll all embrace it. And I'm looking forward to helping you all do that, working with Dr. Jacalyn and other great people in the coming year.
Thank you so much, Mr. CINI. And we have your contact information on the screen, but please do share for people who can't read it.
Easy to reach. My email address is al.cini@getbcat.com. I have a phone number for Profit, the team building experience, 212-480-3730. Call, send me an email. Let's get a conversation started. We just said it's Happy New Year's up to you. Team building experience could be a great way to kick off the new year. And I think we have a very innovative, I know we have a very effective solution for that called Profit. So reach out, let's talk.
Thank you very much, Al. I appreciate it. And I'll see you again next week.
I'll look forward to that, Doc. You take care. Have a great show coming up.
Thank you. Bye for now. And thank you to each and every one of you. My ask is that you reach out to our team members. Reach out to Al, reach out to Hazem, reach out to MOUNIR. They're here providing their time, their expertise to help you. This is not mainstream media. This is live broadcasting with real people with real experience who want to help you. So I urge you to take action. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something different. Be curious about what else is out there for you. This is your opportunity. Wishing you a beautiful Thanksgiving wherever you are in the world. Thank you again for your support, and we'll be right back with our men's show. Stay with us. Bye for now. Thank you again, Hazem. Thank you, MOUNIR, and thank you, Al.